Hello, with this video we start exploring the topic of subjects of international law and international legal personality. As main features of international law that impact directly on the topic of legal personality in international law, we can highlight the increase in the number of states. There's been a massive growing in numbers of states, mainly between 1945 and the mid-1960s as a product of the exercise of the right to self-determination. There's been also a great increase both in the number and importance of international organizations. On the other hand, there is a tendency to exaggerate the role and the transformation of the position of the individual at international level. As I will explain, this transformation has happened mainly within the realm of human rights, but not in other fields of international law, which creates its own distortions. Conversely, there is a tendency to ignore the relevance of other non-state actors in shaping the international law agenda, both historically and in the present. We will also say a little bit about the emergence of another topic, the topic of artificial intelligence, as relevant when considering the legal subjects in international law. Over the next few videos and sessions in class, we are going to see that some entities are considered subjects of international law and others are not. So what makes a subject of international law? There are volumes written about this, both within the field of international law and by other legal scholars. For our purposes, we are going to consider subjects of international law those that combine at least two characteristics. They must be holders of rights that are recognized in international norms. So they must have some rights and perhaps also duties that have been acknowledged within international rules. That's the sources of international law. They must have rights recognized in treaties and customary law mainly, but also general principles of law and everything we have been looking at in previous sessions. In addition, they should have the ability to bring a claim when these rights are breached before an international organ. Okay, so these are going to be the main characteristics we are going to consider essential to say an entity is a subject of international law. They are entitled to rights that are recognized in international norms, and they can bring claims for breaches of these rights before an international body. Okay. Then some subjects of international law will also be responsible for breaches of international rules, and in addition, others, mainly states, but also international organizations, have a role in the creation, development, and enforcement of international law. The primary subjects of international law are states that have all the possible competencies, rights, and abilities that are recognized by international norms. We will also look into the competencies and personality of international organizations, the people with the right to self-determination, and humans mainly related to the international human rights agenda and the organs at international level and norms that protect human rights, and to a lesser level, international criminal law. Finally, we look at others that are not considered generally full subjects of international law or whose personality is disputed. These will include, I have added here a map of Kosovo that was at some point an internationally administered territory. You also have the national liberation movements. This is a symbol of the Frente Polisario for Western Sahara. We have a specific entities with a very specific, a special status in international law, like the Vatican City, others like transnational corporations, NGOs, and I chose this one because it also represents, it works for groups that are also questioned or emerging subjects of international law, minorities and indigenous peoples, and finally, as I said, robots. International artificial intelligence is gaining prominence in international law.